Mercedes Moné has made some surprising comments about Toni Storm that haven't gotten the attention they deserve. With AEW All in Texas coming up on July 12 in Dallas, these remarks are worth revisiting because they add a lot of depth to one of the biggest matches in AEW women's wrestling history. This isn't just a title match. This is a defining collision between two of the most recognizable female stars in wrestling today. Timeless Toni Storm will defend her AEW Women's World Championship against the self-proclaimed CEO, the belt collector, Mercedes Moné, who already holds the AEW TBS title and several other championships from around the globe. It's a champion versus champion match, but also much more than that. It's the culmination of respect, rivalry, and a shared history that has fueled this feud to something truly special. The tension between Moné and Storm reached another level recently on AEW Collision, where Moné called Toni Storm a mark just like all of these fans. That wasn't just a casual insult, it was calculated, sharp, and meant to cut deep. Moné followed it up by calling herself a true star and revealing her goal of becoming 7 belts Moné, a reference to her desire to dominate every division and promotion she steps into. That alone was headline-worthy, but it's what came after that revealed how personal this match is to her. After AEW Double or Nothing, during the post-show media scrum, Moné was asked about Storm and her role in AEW. Her answer turned heads. She said that Storm was actually one of the reasons she came to AEW in the first place. That's a significant admission from someone like Moné, who rarely gives flowers to other wrestlers in public. She said, "She might be timeless, but I'm legendary. I'm iconic. My legacy can never be done. I've been looking forward to facing Toni Storm for a very long time. I've been watching her for years, all the way back since Stardom. She is timeless for a reason. She holds the AEW Women's Championship for a reason. But I'm 4 belts Moné. I'm the CEO of not only AEW, but Rev Pro, New Japan, and soon Mexico. I'm a global champion for a reason. I want all the gold. And Toni, be prepared for the greatest match of your life." This wasn't just hype. This was a glimpse into the mindset of someone who's chased greatness at every step. She made it clear that Storm inspired her to tune into AEW in the first place. She said Storm put AEW on the storm for me, meaning her performances were so compelling that Moné couldn't look away. That's powerful. That's the kind of compliment that turns a match into a legacy-defining battle. Moné is ready to dethrone Storm, and she's confident about it. But that doesn't mean this match is about one woman trying to bury the other. This match is about both of them elevating one another in AEW in the process. Toni Storm is arguably the most over woman in AEW. She's reinvented herself again and again, but it's this current version, timeless Toni Storm, that fans have latched onto. Her old Hollywood, delusional starlet gimmick is strange, brilliant, and absolutely unique. But more importantly, she's backed it up in the ring. Her title reign has been memorable, and her commitment to character work has put her in a league of her own. And now, with this Moné feud, Storm is being taken to a new level. This feud doesn't just showcase Storm's strengths, it fills in the gaps that have existed in Moné's AEW run so far. While Moné has delivered high-quality matches since debuting in AEW, she struggled with consistently compelling promos and storylines. Her mic work has improved, but there hadn't been a feud that truly defined her AEW chapter until now. The Britt Baker program may have been high-profile, but it lacked the electricity that's now coursing through this Toni Storm rivalry. For the first time, AEW has finally placed Moné into a feud that feels worthy of her star power. And that's a credit not just to Moné but to Storm, who has consistently brought out the best in her opponents. This match is so significant because the stakes go beyond championship belts. This is about respect, recognition, and proving who really leads the AEW women's division. And what's so rare in wrestling is that no matter who wins, both women benefit. If Moné wins and adds the AEW Women's Championship to her collection, it doesn't bury Storm. And if Storm beats Moné and puts a dent in her belt collecting streak, Moné doesn't lose her star aura. These two are so well positioned that either result makes sense and builds momentum for both women. That's a rare place to be in pro wrestling, where most matches create a clear winner and a clear loser in the fans' minds. But in this case, both women walk away better for having faced each other. Their performances will matter more than the final count. It's about telling a story, and right now, this is one of AEW's most compelling narratives. Still, it's worth considering how AEW might book this. The safe bet might be to keep the belt on Storm. She's earned it, she's over, and she's helped define this division. There's also the element of Moné being undefeated in AEW singles matches. If you're going to end that streak, it better be in a way that matters. Storm beating Moné would be a statement. It would be the culmination of everything she's built up over the past year. At the same time, you could argue that Moné winning helps solidify her status as an unstoppable global icon, collecting titles and steamrolling the division. There's a case to be made for either outcome. However, I lean towards Storm retaining. AEW may decide it's time to show Moné isn't invincible. There's been some online chatter calling her Moné Hogan, referencing the way Hulk Hogan used to refuse to lose clean. While that might be unfair, there's a real concern among some fans that Moné hasn't shown vulnerability in AEW. Having her lose to Storm, especially in a competitive, well-fought match, would go a long way in silencing those critics. It would show she's here to elevate others as much as she is here to win gold. Moné's dominance has been incredible, but it can't last forever. At some point, you have to pull back a bit to keep the story fresh. This might be that time. Storm could use the win to further solidify her title reign and launch into her next feud with even more heat. Maybe it leads to a rematch with Moné down the road. Maybe someone else steps in and challenges her next. But beating Moné clean in a big-time match would be a career-defining win for Storm, and it wouldn't hurt Moné as long as it's done right. AEW has something special with this feud. The build has been strong, the promos have added real emotion, and fans are invested in both women. That's the perfect recipe for a show-stealing match. When July 12th arrives, all eyes will be on Storm vs. Moné, and that's exactly how it should be. These two are the best of the best. They know it, and they're ready to prove it in front of the world. The real winner here might not be either Storm or Moné, it might just be AEW itself. The women's division has long needed stories that feel important, rivalries that carry emotional weight, and stars who can carry the load on national TV. Storm and Moné are doing exactly that. They're showing what happens when you pair talent with story, charisma with character, and ambition with opportunity. So whatever happens in Dallas, this will be remembered as a turning point. The night AEW finally got its true women's main event, not just in hype, but in execution. Tony Khan has a lot to consider going into this event. He's built a strong card, but this match might just steal the whole show. Whether Moné walks away with 5 titles or Storm keeps her throne, the future looks incredibly bright for both of them. That's what makes this feud so exciting. It's unpredictable, it's intense, and it's real. And in professional wrestling, that's the sweet spot you always aim for but rarely hit. Storm vs. Moné? They've already hit it, and the match hasn't even happened yet. Toni Storm's rise in professional wrestling always felt destined. Debuting at just 14 years old, she quickly made an impression with her natural charisma and in-ring talent. By the time she was 21, Storm had already built a strong international reputation, especially through standout performances in Japan Stardom and across the UK indie scene. It was clear she was a star in the making, and many believed her path to the top would eventually run through WWE, especially as the company had begun putting greater emphasis on its women's division. And in a way, it did. Storm entered WWE in 2017 as part of the Mae Young Classic, making an immediate splash. She officially signed in 2018 and went on to win that year's tournament, positioning her as one of the company's top female prospects. Storm's reign as NXT UK Women's Champion seemed like the first step toward a bright future on WWE's main stage. But things took a different turn. Despite her clear potential, her transition to the main roster didn't go as planned. WWE failed to utilize her effectively, and the creative frustrations began to mount. What should have been a career-defining move left Storm feeling creatively stifled and disillusioned with wrestling altogether. By the end of 2021, she made the bold decision to walk away from WWE entirely. Ironically, it was that departure that opened the door to her true breakthrough, just not in the way anyone predicted. Instead of peaking in WWE, Storm found her voice, freedom, and greatest success in AEW.